Okay, so welcome back to my next YouTube channel. This is my bedroom, which I've got some magazines up there that I've done when I was younger. I'm going to be doing a little Fishermania live match this time, I think. The draw's been done and I've been put on Maple Peg 53, which isn't where anyone wanted to be. Everyone wanted to be on the New Lakes because everyone knows that they're rammed full of fish. It is tightly pegged on there, so there is an outside chance that I could do half decent because I think mine's a good peg on the lake, but I've only fished it once before in a club match. But what I'll do is I'm going to do a little bit of prep now, try and get a few rigs together, tie a few hooks, and then I'll catch up with you in the morning. 1st of May. This is not what you want to see. I have to scrape this. It's done in morning, isn't it? Let's get the gear all sorted and get on the road. Right, so we are an hour into the match, just over I think. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. I'll speak a bit louder this time. I've had 5 F1s, a little stocky F1, tiny thing, and a few roach. It's not the best really, I don't think I'll be winning anything today. But I'm going to keep going, hopefully catch a few more. Started on the mud earlier and I had an F1 quite quickly. It plumbs up about 20 inches across there, probably a little bit deep, but I started on that and then had an F1 like I said, then I had a carp, I lost it. It's all really undercut under your feet here, so I think it's gone shooting under the bank and snapped me off. I think it's the grass is really sharp. And I didn't get any more bites on the mud. So then I've come back and fished hard pellets and 2.5 foot, and that's where I've had my 4 more fish in that little stocky. Just fishing 4 mils. Just keep laying my rigging like that. Fishing a little tiny 4x10s, 1.7 mil Maggie. There you go, see. Just laying that in. By laying your rig in, you get bites on the drop, you know. They take it on the settle a lot of the time.
so far. So big. But I've been changing my pellet pretty much every time. I think if you can have a fresh pellet on, that'll make a difference. It's like six fish, but they're only like a pound and a bit, pound and a quarter if I'm lucky. So they're not big, but if I can catch 80 pounds or something, that'll be probably worth catching possibly on here. The edge to my right is quite nice. But all I'm doing is capping 6 or 7 pellets in and just lay my rig in like that. In the back of my mind, this white hydra seems a bit strong because every time I hook one, they come straight up. But if I fish anything lighter, I think I'll just end up losing carp when I hook them, so I'll just shoot off around the corner. That fish I lost in the mudline that cut me off, once it snapped me, I put an 0.15 hook length on and went across and didn't get a touch in it. Swapped back to 0.13. I didn't catch anything, but I don't know if that made a difference or not. There we go, I've got another one. Tiny little bite that was. Don't know if this is far up. Being a bit weird. I think it's far up in the tail, this is. Damn. Not what you want. Need some bigger fish though, really, if it's going to do any good. I've put a pot of bait in on the mud line in the hope that something might settle on that. I've also plumbed up the mud line to my left at full 16 metres in shallower water because it's a lot shallower on that mud line over there. Far up this, but we might just get a bit. Just keep the top tip really low and pull the elastic. You can get it close to yourself, and then just, oh yeah, it's right in the back of the tail. Things are big and there's a big F on this as well. Just scooped in. Swap my pellet over. Don't want to get lazy, so just make sure I've got plenty of pellets in my pot so I can feed a few times if I need to. Just throwing a few pellets down that edge. I'm fishing tight into the reeds down to the left, but I don't want to chuck my pellets in the reeds because the fish will just sit in the reeds then. So I'm just chucking them out from the bank. That's been 6, 7 pellets. Get my rig, just lay him in again. See if we can get another. But I'll try and do a catch up with you every sort of hour if anything's happened. Hopefully I'll just end up catching a lot of carp later on, but I've not, after that, other than that first one that I hooked, I've not seen anything, any other carp or anything like that, so I don't know if that'll come into play. Got my float dotted right down. Very sunny today, very warm, it's cold up, it's been cold the last couple of nights though. It's 1st of May and it's still frosting overnight. I had to scrape my car this morning, which is crazy. No indication. Just a little tiny strung out rig, number 10 strung out. Got an 18 Super LWG on. Small hook. There you go. See that on the drop. Literally laid my rig in. had it since it hit the bottom. Only a little stocky, I think. Tiny little stocky. 8 ounces, but better than nothing. Ounces or something like that. 8 fish now. I've had 2 little ones to make up 1, so I'll count that as 1. So I've got 8 fish in total now, I think. Make it easier to remember. So get out to your marker, pot your pellets in from a little bit right, probably pot them in from about a foot off the top, just to make a bit of noise really. It's obviously not brilliant, so I need to try and drag some fish in my peg. If I start catching or foul looking multiple fish, I'll just start sneaking my pellets in. And what I'll do is keep fishing away on this line. I might pot some ground bait in the mud to my left and maybe have a quick look in the mud in front of me that I potted about half an hour ago, just to see if anything sat there. It's quite deep, so I don't know if I'd see them if they were there. So I might have a quick look. If I don't catch anything, pot it and come back and just fish, sit on these hard pellets. Might fish like a couple of lines, maybe open one up to my right. I've got a big bowl to my right, so that might be worth a few bites. Oh, we're ticking over, get a few bites, I'll be happy. Yeah, I shall catch up with you shortly. So we are now 2 hours and 20 minutes into match, and I'm not going to win the match. I've had 11 F1s, just small fish as well, no big ones really. Just dropped him down the edge and had one straight away, and then dropped him again, and then shot straight under the banking when I hooked one. So that isn't very good. I think it's really undercut, so I might have to put a heavier elastic on or something if that keeps happening. Couldn't catch any more on hard pellets really, so I'm just going to have to keep potting the mud lines and hope fish turn up on them and have like a run of carp or something. Don't really hope of a section win at the moment. Hard fishing. But it's comes up about, say about 19 inches down here. There's a little ledge that shallows up to touch, which is tight against the bank. It looks nice, but as I said, it's really undercut, so when you hook, the fish are going to be under the bank and stuff, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to line them up, but we'll do our best. I've been throwing pellets to my left still. And that's it. I started a new line to my right in 2.5 foot with hard pellets and didn't have a sound in it. Had a few feeds on that. Nothing. But the lad on pegs that's opposite me on the other side of the lake, catching really well. I think he might be fishing micros expander, so I think my next move if this doesn't go under will be micros and expander across in like 2 foot, I think. Start springing some in just to see if I can get a bite. This doesn't seem to be working. Give this 30 more seconds, and then I think what I'll do is plumb up across in 2 foot, repop not the mud lines, pop some ground bait on normal lines. I'm just got to have some bait in, so if fish do decide to feed up, I might be able to give myself a chance of catching a few. Oh, little indication there. There could be a fish down that edge now. Just fishing meat on the hook. There's quite a few silvers in here, so I think meat's probably a good option. Tried maggots across, but it's caught a roach. Right, this isn't looking like it's going to go under. What I'm going to do is, I'll plumb up a new line on my micro expander, and if I start catching on it, I'll catch back up with you. Right, so I've got an hour and a half of the match to go now, and I've not had a bite for like sort of probably an hour and a half or something, and then I've literally dropped in this mud line. I've had 3 in a row, and I think it's just time of day, that is. Little carp and 2 S1s. I'll catch one here. Might be in with a chance of a section or something, but that's all I've got to hope for. That's 14 fish I've had now. Yeah, 14 fish. I'm fishing a large Guru Kinder pot, filling it with ground bait. Need to try and bring some fish into the peg, there's no point faffing. Oh, I want to try and draw some carp in. Like I'm holding my 16 metre section here at the end, but I've only got a short kit in, so I'm slightly off the bank, but it doesn't come up very nice anyways, tight up, so I just stuck with this. So I think it's probably at 16 inches deep, something, 17 inches I'm reckoning. It's a bit shallower on this mud line to my left and the right hand side than in front of me. I might put another pot on the one in front of me soon. But I mean, 3 fish and 3 puttings, probably the best one I've had all day. Just need to hope that I get one a carp or something like that. But the 3 fish I've had here there in a row, been a good stamp, so I need some like big commons or something, big mirrors. But then 3 bites I mean, just floating shot under. It's mega on this mud line when it goes. It's just been really tough today. Hard work.
Right, so that's the match finished with. I've ended up catching a few fish late on. I'm not sure how much of the match has been recorded because I think My SD card could have been full on my GoPro, so I'll have to see about that once we get to the editing room. But all I know is I've ended up with around 50–60 £. I've caught in the mud line late on and a few down the edges, but mid-match it's been so tough. I've had 12 fish going to the last hour and a half, and then I've caught really well on the mud line over that way, and then I caught a few down the edges down there. But what I'll do is I'll get weighed in and let you know how I've done, and then we'll talk you through the rigs and how I've caught. Right, so I'll quickly talk you through my 2 rigs that I caught the best on and the bait that worked the best on the day. So obviously I've been drawn on peg 53. I've had a lovely day, to be fair. I've ended up weighing in £61, which has actually won the section, so I'm over the moon with that. That's 80 quid, so that'll pay for my fuel and my day, so I'm over the moon with that. What more could I ask for from like drawing on Maple? We all knew it was going to be won on the New Lakes, which I think it probably has. Don't know who's won, but I'll try and put the name somewhere around here if I can find out for when I've edited this. But yeah, I've ended up winning this half of the lake, so happy with that. £60. Caught most of that in the last hour and a half on the mud line and down the edges. But early on I've caught, as you would have seen from the video, I've caught in 2.5 foot of water with hard pellets, just a little strung out rig. I've literally just fished some number 10s in like a strung bulk sort of thing down the rig, and a 4-inch hook length of 013 and little 18s Super LWG. I think a smaller hook on a 4mm pellet's perfect. Just nice and light, like a carbon stem float, so I can keep laying my rig in, lifting it out and laying it in. And you get your bites on the drop just as soon as your bait hits the bottom. And obviously I've got a little medium pot here, just with a little sprinkle lid on, so I can keep tapping a few pellets in, lay my rig back over the top of it, and that way, you know, you can give your best chance of catching fish rather than keep shipping in, shipping out. Little sprinkle lid, that's important. And again, white hydro, Old Faithful, that's perfect now. I did think it was a bit heavy, but I feel like the fish is still a little bit dormant now, but if you hook a carp, you need the white hydro to get them in. Fished a reasonably long line, fished a little back shot. I moved that up because I did plumb up a line down the middle there, but I never fished it. Little back shot, and that's it really. That's that rig. Caught a few on that earlier, that died a death. And then basically the middle of the match, I've not caught very much. You have to excuse Baz's getting off. But I've not caught a lot in the middle of the match, and then late on I've caught in the mud line in 12 inches. I've shipped across there in 16 metres across there it is, and I've caught in about 12 inches of water. I started off in about 14 inches and then ended up getting lined out, so re-plumbed up. They were coming into that depth of water, but I wouldn't say they wanted to feed there. I just nailed an odd one. I got lucky with a couple of carp and a few better stamp F1s, so that sort of boosted my weight. And then I just kept potting that during the day, so early on I couldn't catch in it. So what I was doing, I was getting my 100mm pot, just ground bait, and just putting a pot on it, and the same with that mud line across from me there as well. So I've fished them both. That one's about 20 inches, and that one was my shallow option. So I wanted to make sure I had a deeper line and a shallower, because I learned that last time at Partridge. So important to have 2 options. So if your fish do want to feed late on, like they can only switch on last half an hour, and you can catch a really big, like you can catch 40 pounds in like no time if they start feeding on that mud line. So I've kept potting it and kept potting them both. Nothing really came into that one. I caught a couple early on it, and that was it really. And then on this side over there, on that mud line, which I'll show you now, basically they just turned up. They started to see the water colouring up a little bit, so I obviously knew there was an odd fish coming in. Probably with an hour and a half to go, dropped in. I had like 3 in a row and then nothing for like 10 minutes. So I potted it again. So I feel like there's few were coming in, and then they'd back off. So then I dropped in down the edge and got one, and then I went back across and got another little run, and dropped in down the edge. Then ended up catching probably, I think I got to about 25 fish in the mud across there, and then dropped in down the edge, and I've had like 4 fish really quickly, like last 10 minutes, which has been really nice. So I've had like 2 carp and a couple of big F1s. Just literally put my bait in, lift my rig, tight into the banking, and then it was going under. That was, how deep was that down there? That's about 18 inches down the edge. And then on that mud line's about 14 inches. And this one is the deeper one, so that's probably about 20 inches across there. I've just got a few depths marked on, but this is the rig that I caught most of my fish on. White hydro. I've got a medium pot in here, which is interesting. I might have touched on it during the match, but basically I found that the medium pot was probably best, because I felt like the fish were coming in my peg and just sitting in my peg. They weren't, like, as soon as I lifted my rig in, I was getting a liner, or one was bow waving out. So although a large pot has been working for me at Partridge to try and get fish in your peg, I feel like it was a little bit different today. So the medium pot I did find was better on the day, but I did keep changing. So if it went a bit dead, put the large one on to try and put a bit more bait in the peg. But yeah, this is the pot that I caught most on late on. I fished a really long line today. This lake's still really clear. Some people don't like fishing a long line. I've spoke to Christian, I know he thinks of it's a bit faffy, but I just use a long line because I think I can keep the pole tip away. And when you get a bite on like a rig like this with a bulker shot, you don't really miss them if they're in the mouth, I don't think. I've got a little number 8 back shot right next to the float. When I was fishing out long, I actually moved the back shot up just because I needed more bristle showing. But when I was fishing down the edge, I moved my back shot right next to my float like this. So then I could basically use the back shot to pull my float right into the banking, because it's really undercut, so you need to be as tight in as you can get. But basically that was it. I just caught a good run late on in the mud and the edge, feeding mainly just ground bait. I fed with a few pellets in it, but I feel like just ground bait was best today. I did try just feeding some pellets, but I think it was just a case of when one came in your peg, you caught them if they wanted to eat. So I just stuck to ground bait today. Three or four maggots on the hook was perfect. Just got 0.17 mainline on this one in terms of the rig. A little muddy float, then a bulk of what's that, 5 number 8s, and a little tiny, well, 3-inch hook length and a 16s Super LWG. That was perfect. I did get broken once on my second fish because I was fishing 0.13 and I was kind of coming back and trying to get this carp in, and it shot straight under the bank. Bit of a rookie mistake, but just one of those. If you fished 0.15, I don't think I would have caught many F1s at all. So I did go on to 0.15, didn't get any bites, swapped back to 0.13. Just thought I'm just gonna have to put up with it, be a bit more careful under my feet when I'm playing fish. And that was that. So I'm not sure who was won the match. I've had a lovely day, ended up winning my section obviously with £60, so can't complain with that. I really enjoyed it late on. A bit tough on the elbow and the back, shipping all the way across there. But that's another little live match. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks to Tom for letting us film. That's my 3rd Fishermania. So I've got a few days off now, then I'm off to Western Pool, so hopefully I'll catch a few there. But please like the video if you did enjoy it. Comment down below, I'd love to hear what you thought. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And subscribe. So until next time, I'll see you on the bank.